easy. And today's class is going to be a bit of a focus on twists, a little bit of a shorter class to what I've been doing so far, so I hope you enjoy. And yeah, just a little reminder that I'm not liable for you, as this is an online class. So when you're at home, when you're practicing on your own, just really listen to your body, listen to what feels right, and listen to what doesn't feel right. So just really take it easy and know what feels good. Okay, so we're all just going to begin in Sukhasana, easy seated pose. We're just going to settle and ground into the practice, and if you'd like to use a block to sit on, if you find it uncomfortable being sat cross-legged, that's absolutely fine. So if you do have a block, you can just place that underneath your sitting bones, cross the legs, or if it's uncomfortable to cross the legs and you don't want to use a block, you can sit down, just have your legs bent like that, or you can have your legs straighten out in front of you. Just find what's right for you. This is your practice. So coming into Sukhasana, rolling the shoulders back and down, gently placing the hands on your knees, or maybe placing your hands in your lap with the palms on top of one another. Gently tucking the chin in and closing the eyes if that's comfortable. And let's just begin by arriving in the space here and now. Any worries, lists, plans, concerns, just park those at the door for this session. This session is just for you to be present in the moment. As you arrive in this space, just bring your awareness now to any external sensations going on outside your body. Smells, sounds, temperature. And how do you interact with those? How do those make you feel? And then bring your awareness now to your body and your mind, and how are they feeling today? And just taking a moment to scan from the head all the way down and then all the way back up again, just observing for any tension in the body. And if there is any tension, hopefully today this practice will ease out that tension. And I'd like you to set yourself an affirmation. So 3 affirmations for the class. So you can either set your own 3, or I've got a couple that I can share with you. So I'll just share them with you now. I choose to let go. I trust in the universe. And I put all my energy in the present moment. I choose to let go. I trust in the universe. I place all my energy in the present moment. I choose to let go. I put my trust in the universe. I put all my energy in the present moment. And just focus that in your mind's eye, the third eye. Hold it there just for a few moments. And then bring your awareness to your natural rhythmic breathing. In and out, through the nose. Just noticing the quality of your breath. Is the breath calm and relaxed? Or is the breath a bit shallow and fast? Are you feeling a little bit nervous? And however the breath is, that is absolutely fine. Just pay attention to your breathing now, just in that present moment, here and now. Slowly inhale through the nose. Slowly exhale out the nose. And just notice that for a few moments. And as you begin to notice in your inhales and your exhales, your breath begins to slow down. And as your breath begins to slow down, the body becomes calmer and the mind becomes calmer. And maybe you would like to start counting your inhalations. So maybe inhaling for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just continue to observe that for a few moments. And then see if you can add a pause in between the inhale and the exhale. Maybe pausing for 2 seconds. So inhaling for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just continue to observe this pattern. And if it feels forced, just gently release and just come back to rhythmic breathing. You don't want to force anything, just let it happen naturally. And then come back to normal rhythmic breathing. And if your thoughts are wandering already, just come back to observing the breath, or you can imagine that your thoughts are like clouds in a deep blue sky. Let those clouds float away. You can also imagine that your thoughts are like waves in an ocean. The wave washes over you. The wave comes, the wave washes over you. The thought comes and then it goes, just like that. So today is all about surrendering, letting go. So when we surrender and let go of a thought, what happens? And what do we mean when we surrender? And when we surrender, it might mean that we're ultimately giving into the true reality of nature, of the universe. Or maybe giving into your true self, being here and now in the present moment, without any distractions. Again, just bringing your awareness to your body, noticing the sitting bones against the ground, noticing your legs against the ground. Gently open the eyes, and hopefully now we're feeling ready for our practice. So let's begin in child's pose. So in child's pose, you can have your knees wide, or you can have them together. Tuck the belly in, the navel in, and then exhale, fold forward. Just bring your forehead to the ground. You can have your arms out at the sides, or you can have your arms stretched out in front of you. And child's pose, which is ultimately a calming, relaxing pose, you do get a gentle stretch of the back, but it is calming. And just take this moment to align with your breath and your body and your mind, here and now. And then very gently lift your buttocks off your heels, stretch your arms out. So making sure that your knees and your hips are in line. Stretch the arms out and then drop the forehead to the ground, moving into puppy pose. So just giving our back now even more of a stretch. So the child's pose was a mild stretch on the back. Now here we're getting a stronger stretch on the upper back and on the arms. Breathe. Noticing the breath, noticing the body, and picking up any sort of sensations that are going on as well. And where do you notice those sensations in the body? And then very slowly walk the hands in, coming into a tabletop. Making sure your hands are directly below your shoulders and your knees are sort of hip distance apart and your knees are sort of directly below the hips. And let's just begin by circling those hips as well. So in the process of circling the hips, we're working on the knee joints, working on the pelvic joints, maybe circling in the opposite direction. And you're just breathing in and out through the nose, maybe breathing in as you move up, out as you move down. Come back to centre. And if your wrists are a little bit stiff like mine, you might just want to give your wrists a little bit of a stretch by turning them out 90 degrees. And then all the way around. Maybe coming onto the tops of the hands as well. Ooh, that feels good. Really just going with what feels right for you. So when I teach yoga, I just like to emphasize that this is your practice. So do what feels good for you. And if anything doesn't feel good for you, you can just very gently ease out. Okay, coming back to tabletop. So let's just make sure that our pelvis is neutral. So just checking that sacrum, that flat bit of bone just below the spine. Yeah, that's feeling okay. Keeping your gaze down just for a moment. And then from here, let's do a nice little cat-cow sequence, waking up the spine. So in cow, you drop the belly, stick the bottom out, tilt the head back, inhale. Exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine, drop the crown of the head towards the mat, really round the back. Inhale to cow, stick that bottom out, tilt the head back. Exhale into cat, draw the navel in, round those shoulders, drop the crown of the head. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat. Just do a few more of those on your own. Inhaling cow, exhaling cat. Couple more, and then back to center. And then from here, taking an inhalation, raising the left arm up, so the left palm is facing the left hand side of you. Exhale, thread it through, hover. Inhale, raise the arm back up. Exhale, thread it through, hover. Inhale, raise it back up. Exhale, thread it through, then drop the left shoulder and the left cheek to the ground. Breathe, coming in to thread the needle. So we've got a nice sort of gentle twist coming from the rib cage here. We're gently compressing the left hand side of the chest and just working on that left shoulder as well. Breathe. So this is option one. Option two, inhale, raise that right arm up vertically with the right palm facing the right hand side of you. Exhale, option three, bringing the arm right overhead, dropping the palm onto the ground at the front of the mat. Breathe. And final option, option four, taking that right hand behind your back, bring it over towards your left thigh. So deepening that twist. And we're just twisting from the rib cage here. Breathe. And not forcing anything either. Try not to force the twist, just let it come naturally. Breathe. And then very gently release by bringing your right hand down. Pressing your right hand into the mat, back into a tabletop. Well done. And then from here, taking an inhalation, raising the right arm up. And then exhale, thread it through, dropping the right shoulder to the ground and your right cheek to the ground. Breathe. So this is option one, you can stay here. Option two, inhale, raising that left arm up vertically. The left palm is facing the left hand side of you. Option three, or option four, exhale, bring the arm overhead,
stretch it out, bringing the palm to the front of the mat. So this option here, you're getting a gentle stretch in that left shoulder as well. You're working on that deltoid area, and you're working on the left hand side of the back as well, those muscles on the upper left hand side of the back. Breathe. And then the final option, bring the left arm behind you, around your back, and then bring it onto your right thigh. Breathe. Well done. And then very slowly exhale, bring that left hand back down onto the mat, just above your, or just below your left shoulder, and push into that hand, coming back into a tabletop. Now from tabletop, I'd like you to bring your hands to the front of the mat, bringing your weight into your fingertips, and your hands need to be shoulder distance apart. So from your knees, bring your weight into your tippy toes, and then begin to exhale and lift your knees up off the ground. And as you lift your knees off the ground, just push the hips back. Keep pushing those thighs up and back, and then just begin by pedaling the legs out and just making sure that your feet are hip distance apart as well. And just keep pushing the mat away from you. Just keep pushing those thighs back, and don't worry about not getting your heels down. Maybe bringing a good bend in the knees as well. And sometimes when you bring a good bend in the knees, you can push your hips up and back a bit further. And then from here, inhale, raising the right leg up high. And then from here, inhale, exhale, bring that foot through in between the hands, dropping the left knee to the ground, coming into a low lunge, Anjanasana. So just for a moment, just push those hips down and forward, feeling that stretch in the hip region, in the left hip and in the right hip. And then from here, just draw your hips back slightly, so you're creating a sense of buoyancy in between your hips. And then inhale, lift your torso off your leg. Keep the torso straight. Breathe, and then bring your hands to heart center, looking straight ahead. And then from here, exhale, twisting from the rib cage, hook your left elbow to the right hand side of your right knee. Breathe. So this is option one, you can stay here. If you want more of a challenge, lift that left knee off the ground, really straighten that left leg and push the heel back. And try and keep that right angle in that right leg. Keep breathing. Well done. And then very slowly exhale, twist back to center, dropping your palms back to the ground and maybe dropping that left knee as well. And then from here, bring your right foot to meet your left foot back into a downward dog. And then just begin by pedaling your legs out. And it's nice to pedal the legs out, so you're getting that stretch in the calves and the hamstrings as well. Especially if you're feeling tight or you've been for a run. Again, just making sure your feet are hip distance apart, and maybe just turning the feet in slightly as well. And take an inhalation, raising that left leg up high, and then exhale, sweep it through or step it through and bring it in between your hands at the front of the mat, dropping the right knee to the ground, coming into Anjanasana, low lunge. So again, low lunge, like a runner's lunge, isn't it? So taking this moment to push the hips forward and down. Breathe. And then for a moment, just slightly lift those hips. And when you're slightly lifting the hips, you're sort of lifting that tailbone. Again, creating that sense of buoyancy. And when you're lifting that tailbone as well, you're actually engaging the core in that pelvic region. And then from here, taking an inhalation, lifting the torso off your knee, off your leg. Keeping that leg active and engaged. Inhale, bring your hands to heart center, looking straight ahead. And then from here, exhale, twisting from the rib cage, hook your right elbow just to the left-hand side of your left knee. Breathe. Okay, and then from here, this is option 1, just stay here. Option 2, exhale, lift that right kneecap off the ground, push the right heel back, straighten that right leg, breathe. Well done, guys. And then very slowly, exhale, come back to center, bringing your palms back onto the mat, dropping that right knee to the ground, and then bring your right foot to meet your left foot. Exhale into a forward fold, gently softening the knees, rooting down through the feet, just hanging loose, maybe grabbing hold of opposite elbows, hanging in ragdoll, gently swaying from side to side. And then very slowly, one vertebrae by vertebrae at a time, inhale, come up to center with the head, the last 2 come up. Waving up. Coming into your starting stance of Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet together, or maybe the big toes touching and the heels slightly apart. Rolling those shoulders back and down. Maybe the palms are on your thighs or your palms are facing the front of the room. Gently tucking your chin in. Maybe gently softening the knees as well. And take a moment to close your eyes. And just taking this time to observe the mind and the body and the breath. Are they all connected? Or is there a bit of disconnection there? And again, just reminding yourself of the theme of surrender. So when we surrender to the asana, sometimes it means just letting go of the fact that we're pushing ourselves too hard and our body is telling us to rest. But it can also mean that sometimes we have to get used to feeling uncomfortable. So when we're in a challenging pose, sometimes it's good to push ourselves so that we can become stronger, because we really do learn a lot from that journey of becoming stronger. But it is a fine balance, so it's knowing what feels right. So in this moment right now, surrendering to the groundedness of mountain pose, and then very gently open your eyes. Okay. And then from here, we're going to take a good bend in the knees. As you bend in the knees, just bend the knees as far as is comfortable, and then really begin to drop down into it, almost like a seat. So we're moving into Utkatasana, chair pose. So you want to imagine that your tailbone and your buttocks is almost in line with your heels. Keep that spine straight. Then inhale, raise the arms so they're either in line with the ears, or if that's too strong, you can have your arms just halfway so they're in line with the shoulders. And sink even further, keep that spine straight, breathe, hold. And then bring your hands to heart center. And then from here, begin to twist from the rib cage, twist over to the left, bringing your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Breathe. Hold. Making sure you're keeping both knees in line. Then inhale, come back to center, bringing the arms back up, wherever they were. So you're going to be feeling the burn in the legs now. If you need to rest and come up for a moment, inhale, come up. Exhale, release the arms. Alternatively, if you stay where you are, bring your hands to heart center. Then exhale, twist over to the right, hooking your left elbow just to the outside of your right knee. Breathe. So you're twisting from the rib cage and you're looking towards the right hand side. Breathe. Breathe. And then inhale, come back up to center. And keep coming up. Exhale,
release. Well done everyone, good job. So when we're working in our twists, it's nice to try and twist from the rib cage opposed to the lower the spine, the lumbar spine, because that can create problems in our lower back. And yeah, one of the benefits from doing twists is it aids in digestion. It can detoxify the body, and it can help sort of circulate the blood around the body too, so lots of good benefits. Moving to the front of your mat if you're not already there, bringing your feet together, and then stepping the left foot back about, I would say 3 or 4 feet. Keeping the heels aligned, your right foot is at 12 o'clock. Your left foot is going to be either at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. And I like your heels to be aligned, but if your heels are aligned and you're feeling really sort of wobbly and unsteady, just slightly widen the stance. So you can just step your left foot out a bit more. Okay, so what we want to happen here is we would like our hips to be square on. We're going to be moving into Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. So tuck that tailbone in, lift those hips. Taking an inhalation, raising the arms so they're in line with the ears. Arms can be sort of shoulder distance apart, or you can bring the palms together. And then exhale, bring a right angle into that right leg. So you'd like your right knee and your right ankle to be in line. So if you want a deeper stretch, so if you're quite tall like me, you can just take a moment and you can just shift your left leg back a bit, or you can slide your right foot forward slightly. So the more parallel your thigh is with the mat, the stronger the challenge on that leg. So breathe, looking straight ahead. Try to keep the torso straight as well, opposed to sort of turning it into a back bend. Breathe. Breathe. And again, just really rooting down through the feet, noticing any sensations in the body. And then very slowly exhale, release the arms. Maybe straighten out that front leg. Okay, so keeping the same stance that you're in, we're going to be moving into Pravrita Trikonasana, so revolved triangle. Okay, so keeping that same stance, keeping that tailbone tucked in, the hips are square, placing your right hand on your right hip. If you've got a block handy, actually, now's a good time to have it. So something this size, if you've got a dictionary, place the block just to the right of your right foot. Okay, keeping your right hand on your hip, taking an inhalation, raising that left arm up so it's in line with the ear. Keep your navel tucked in, and then exhale, begin to fold forward, just come down halfway. Keep the spine straight, and then when you're down halfway, see if you can place your hand on that block. Okay, so really imagine now that you're pushing your left hip forward and your right hip back, really grounding down through the feet. Keep breathing, and then look over to the right, exhale, breathe, twisting from the rib cage, and then finally inhale, raising the right arm. So it's the right palm is facing your right hand side. Breathe. So this is quite a strong pose on the hamstring, getting a nice twist as well. Breathe. And then very slowly, when you're ready, exhale, lower that right hand back onto your hip. Bring your gaze back to center. Then from here, inhale, raising your left arm up. Exhale, lowering the left hand back down. Well done, guys, good job. And then from here, we're going to step your left foot back even more, 4 or 5 feet now. So your left foot now is at 9 o'clock, and your right foot is at 12 o'clock, keeping that tailbone tucked in, rolling the shoulders back and down. So moving from revolved triangle into normal triangle. So inhale, raising the arms. So they're in line with the shoulders, the palms are facing the left hand side of the room. Bring your gaze over towards your right hand. Really exhale, begin to reach forward with that right hand. And then either bring your right hand onto your calf or onto a block or onto the mat. And you can keep a little micro bend in that right leg as well. Then rolling that right shoulder back. And then from here, inhale, raise the left arm. The left palm is facing the front left hand side of you. So you can bring your gaze, keep breathing towards your middle finger. Or if that's too strong, you can just keep looking over to the left. And if anyone suffers from high blood pressure, you can just gently lower that arm just onto your waist. You can bring your gaze down as well. Breathe. And then very slowly release, let go. Inhale, come back up to center. And then from here, turning that right foot in. And then you're just going to toe heel the feet in now. We're going to move into balancing pose on the right hand side now. So from here, bringing your left leg over the top of your right. So really grounding down through that right foot. So you might either be balancing on your big toe, or you're able to bring your foot and wrap it around your calf. Breathe. So we're moving into Garudasana, eagle pose. Breathe. Squeezing the thighs, and see if you can sit, come into a sort of sinking into your hips, your pelvis basically. Breathe. And then from here, bringing your right arm over the top of your left, wrapping it around, bringing the palms together. Breathe. Breathe. Find something to focus on. Notice all the tiny sensations your feet are having to make. And then very gently release the arms. And then inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, release, and give that right foot a little bit of a shake. Okay, so now we're going to repeat everything that we've just done on the opposite side. So coming back into our starting stance, Tadasana. So now stepping your right foot back about 3 or 4 feet. So now repeating on the other side. Moving into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So again, just checking your stance. If you're quite tall like me, just slide your left foot forward a bit. So your left foot is at 12 o'clock and your right foot is at either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Really grounding down through those feet, really rooting down. So really feeling the big toe, feeling the balls of the feet, feeling the balls at the back of the feet. Square the hips, tuck that tailbone in. Taking an inhalation, raising the arms so they're in line with your ears. Maybe bringing the palms together or just keeping them where they are. If you're feeling a tightness in your shoulders, just bring them shoulder width apart. Then exhale, bring a right angle now into that left leg. So the left knee and the left ankle are in line. So the more you sort of square that leg, the more parallel your thigh becomes with the mat. You might notice that your back foot slightly lifts off the ground. So really try and work on grounding down that back right heel, rooting down strong legs. So this pose really works on strengthening the legs. We're getting a stretch in those sort of calves and those thighs at the same time. Breathe. Keep holding, keep breathing, keeping that torso straight as well. Try not to back bend. And then exhale, release the arms. Breathe, then straighten out that front leg. Maybe just taking a slight step in as well with the right foot, making sure that your block is just to the right left-hand side of your left foot. Or you may be able to do this pose without the block if you're a little bit more advanced. Placing your hand, your left hand on your left hip. Inhale, raise your right arm so it's in line with your ear. Then exhale, begin to fold forward, keeping that navel tucked in. Come down halfway, breathe and hold. And then just taking this time just to notice your balance, and then placing your hand on the block if you can. So you're going to be feeling an intense stretch in your hamstring now. Breathe. And exhale, look over to the left hand side of you. And then exhale, keep looking over, really twisting from the ribcage now. So you can stay here, or following option, inhale, raise your left arm. So the left palm is in line. The left palm is facing your left hand side. Breathe. So you're either going to be here, you'll be here, or if you're more advanced, you can place your hand directly on the mat. So you're really rolling that left shoulder back if you can. So imagine that you're drawing your left hip back and your right hip forward. Breathe. Keep breathing. And then very gently release, bringing your left hand onto your left hip. And inhale, raising the right arm back up. Exhale, release. Then slightly widening your stance now. So your right foot is at 3 o'clock and your left foot is at 12 o'clock. We're moving into Trikonasana. So we were just in revolved triangle, Prasarita Trikonasana. Keeping that tailbone tucked in, rolling those shoulders back and down. The chest is facing the right hand side of the room, your torso. Inhale, raise the arms so they're in line with the shoulders. The palms are facing your right hand side. And begin to exhale and really, really begin to reach. And as you reach, you'll feel an intense stretch in your left hip. And then either bringing your left hand onto your calf, onto a block. And then roll that right shoulder back. Really roll it back. So you're imagining that your shoulder blades are pressed against a wall. Then inhale, raise the right arm up with the right palm facing the right hand side of the room. Breathe. So this is a nice counter pose to doing the revolved triangle. So when we're doing any twist, we need to reset the spine by doing the opposite. And very gently hold, so really grounding down through those feet. Maybe you might have a little micro bend in that left knee as well, and that's absolutely fine. Sometimes it's better to have a little micro bend so that we're engaging and working those muscles around the leg rather than going into sort of a full sort of engagement, full lock essentially in that knee. And then very slowly inhale, come back up to center, exhale, release. Then bring your right foot to meet your left foot at the front of the mat. So from here now, we just worked on the right hand side previously, so we're now working on the left hand side. So really grounding down through that left leg. So you may just want to really push into that left foot, just bringing a tiny little micro bend into that left knee, moving into Garudasana, eagle pose. You may wish to begin by placing your left hand on your left hip, and that just helps with steadiness. Then bringing your right leg over the top of your left. And you may just wish to balance on your left big toe, sorry, your right big toe, just to the right, left of your left foot. Right foot, sorry. Left foot. I always get my rights and lefts confused. I'm a left-hander as well, so things are even more confusing for me. So this is option one. Option two, wrapping it around that calf. And then exhale, sink into those hips. And then bringing your left arm over the top of the right, wrapping them around, bringing the palms together.
And then bring your elbows in line with the shoulders and breathe. Really squeezing those legs, engaging the core, engaging the legs. Breathe. Looking straight ahead, finding a point to focus on. And then very gently release. And then let go, giving that left leg a little bit of a shake. Just taking a little moment now just to rest in child's pose. Exhale, forward fold. And again, just reminding yourself of surrendering. Did you surrender in that balancing pose? Did you surrender to the strengthener of the pose, or did you surrender and listen to your body when it said enough? It's finding the right balance for you. Then very slowly inhale, come back up to center. And then from here I'd like you to come into a squat. Coming into Malasana, garland pose. So keeping that tailbone tucked in. So in the squat, I'd like your feet, I guess, your heels to be sort of sitting bone distance, and your toes are in line with your knees. Then bring your palms together and push your elbows into the inner sides of your knees. Keep your spine straight. Breathe. So you're going to be feeling an intense stretch in the feet now, as well as the hips. Breathe. Very gently release, placing your right hand on the mat. Then inhale, raise the left arm up. Exhale, twist. Twisting from the rib cage, the left rib cage. And then release that left hand. Place the left hand on the mat. Then twist, exhale, and then inhale, raise that right arm. Look up to it, breathe. And then very gently release one more time on the other side. Exhale on the twist, then inhale, raise the arm. Exhale, release one more time on the other side. And then release. And for those of you that would like a little practice in crow pose, or we're just going to sort of move towards it, just begin by lifting your left heel. Drop the left heel, lift the right heel. Drop the right heel, lift the left heel. Drop it, lift, and then turn the feet in so your feet are facing the front. Bring your hands directly below your shoulders, really spread the weight in your fingers, and then place your knees on your forearms and just lift your heels up now. Exhale. Continue to breathe normally and just practice with how it feels to be pushing your weight onto your forearms. So this is a real sort of wrist strengthener, but we're also sort of working on strong arms and strong legs and a strong core. So some of you, if you are experienced, I'd like you to go ahead and move into crow pose. Breathe. Otherwise, very slowly release, let go, and come into a seated position. Dandasana, staff pose, rolling those shoulders back and down, bringing your palms just to the sides of you, looking straight ahead. Breathe. And then from here, I'd like to widen your legs as far as is comfortable, keeping your spine straight, maybe bringing your hands behind you on the mat, coming onto your fingertips, or you can bring the palms completely down, but just work on keeping that spine straight. Externally rotate the legs so you're bringing your toes towards you. Breathe. And then come back to center, and maybe placing your right hand on your right sort of shin, or you've got your toe And then rotate that left shoulder back. And then inhale, raise the left arm overhead. And then exhale. So you're taking a little micro twist here. You're really opening up that left rib cage towards the left hand side. Breathe. And you may just wish to circle that left arm as well whilst you do so, getting some movement in now. Try to keep both sitting bones on the ground and then maybe in the opposite direction. And then back again. Inhale back to center, and either placing your left hand on your left shin or around the toe. If you find that you're grabbing a hold of your left toe and your right sitting bone is coming off the ground, then just come a little bit further up. So we've got a little bit of a twisting action going on here. Draw that right shoulder back, and then inhale, raise that right arm overhead. Breathe. So getting a lateral side stretch here as well as a little twist in the spine, and then gently begin by circling that arm as well in any way that feels good for you. Free movement, free practice. And then come back to center. Inhale. Draw the legs in together. We're going to move into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Really engage those legs. Flex the feet, as we did in Dandasana, staff pose. Inhale, raise the arms, they're in line with the shoulders. Then exhale, begin to forward fold. Either bringing your palms onto your legs or onto your feet, keeping that spine straight. Breathe. Keep that navel tucked in. Breathe. Depending on how flexible you are, but keeping that spine straight. And inhale, come back to center. So, taking your right foot and placing it to the left-hand side of your left foot. Then wrapping your left elbow around your left knee. So keeping that spine straight. Breathe. Then look over the right shoulder. Exhale, bringing your palm behind you. Moving into Ardha Matsyasana, seated supine twist. Breathe. So really twisting from the rib cage. Keep both sitting bones on the ground if you can, but if not, that's fine. Breathe. And then gently come back to center. Now placing your left foot just to the right hand side of your right knee, wrapping your right arm around that left knee, then looking over your left shoulder, bringing your left hand behind you on the mat. Exhale as you look over your shoulder. Breathe. Twisting from the rib cage. And then very gently come back to center. And then from here, come to lying on your belly, coming into a Sphinx pose. So making sure that your elbows are directly below your shoulders, you're on your forearms, your legs are spread. Got a nice little back bend here. And then exhale, look over the left shoulder. Come back to center. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Back to center again. Exhale over the left. Back to center. Exhale over the right. Back to center. And then from here, come to lying on your back on the mat. Drawing the knees up. So we're just going to come into a supine twist now. So you want to make sure that your heels are as close to your buttocks as is comfortable. Palms are facing up. Exhale, Drop your knees to the right. Bring your gaze over to the left, and you're going to be feeling a nice stretch in the spine here. Breathe. You may also wish to place your right hand on your left knee to deepen that. Breathe, really breathing into the left hand side now. Then very slowly bring that arm back up. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, twist over to the left. Bringing your gaze over to the right. And maybe bringing your left hand onto your right knee. Breathe. And then very slowly, inhale, come back up to center. Drawing the knees in towards your chest. Inhale. Exhale, release. Maybe just gently massaging the lower back, gently rolling from side to side. Asana. Maybe drawing the left leg out, keeping that right knee in. Feeling that sort of gentle stretch in the right hip flexor. Gently extending that right leg and then drawing the left knee back in. Breathe. And then very gently release, coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So maybe letting the feet flop out, bringing the arms to your sides, palms facing up. If you do suffer from any sort of lower back problems from lying on your back for too long, you can draw your knees up as well. Or if you've got a blanket, maybe place a blanket just below, just underneath your knees. So as we come into our final resting pose, Shavasana, gently close your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. And just come back into that space that we were in at the start, reminding yourself of anything external outside of the body, observing sounds, smells, temperature. And how do you engage with those now compared to the start of the class? And then now bringing your awareness to the body. And how does the body now feel compared to the start of the class? And maybe taking this time to scan from the head all the way down to the legs and back up again. And if there is any remaining tension in the body, take a deep inhalation through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And then in your mind's eye, inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. And if your thoughts are wandering, just come back to observing your natural rhythmic breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe observing the synchronization and movement of your belly with your inhales, and the belly moving down as you exhale, the lower back relaxing. And just take this time here and now to rest. As the breath calms, the body calms, and the body sinks into the ground, melting into the ground. Noticing the weight of the body against the ground here and now in this present moment. Feeling relaxed and rejuvenated. Taking this time for you. mind's eye, reminding yourself of the theme surrender. And related to that theme of surrender, just remind yourself of those 3 affirmations you set at the start, or the 3 affirmations that I provided at the start. I choose to let go. I trust in the universe. I give all my energy in the present moment. I choose to let go. I trust the universe. I put all my energy in the present moment. I choose to let go. I trust in the universe. I put all my energy in the present moment. Letting this thought settle. Maybe visualize it in your mind's eye. And then just taking this time to thank yourself for practicing yoga for you, a self-care practice here and now. And then maybe gently begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Rotating the wrists, rotating the ankles, letting the head flop from side to side. Maybe stretching the arms overhead, stretching the legs, taking a full body stretch, drawing the knees in, gently rolling on your back from side to side, massaging the back. And then gently rolling over to the right hand side into the recovery or fetal position, using your right arm as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed. Then begin by pushing inhale into your left hand, coming into a seated pose. Coming back into Sukhasana. Rolling those shoulders back and down, gently tucking the chin in. Rubbing the hands together, creating warmth, creating energy. Placing your hands over the face. Feeling that warmth, feeling that energy. Gently opening the eyes. Gazing into darkness. Gazing into stillness. Gazing into surrender. Bringing your hands to heart center. And then taking a deep inhalation, and I'm going to chant Om. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed.